Well, a very warm welcome indeed to St Peter Mancroft Church. Today, being a Wednesday, we have our weekly live-streamed reflection at 1 o'clock. My name's Revd Carter and I'm the Vicar here. Thank you for joining us for the reflection, both here in the church and also if you're watching the live stream. If you're just enjoying looking around the church, then please do carry on doing that. You're very, very welcome, and it's lovely to see you here. And we have these reflections every week. Well, I don't know if you're a soccer fan or not. I'm not really. But last night, the Lionesses, that's the England women's football team, played a very important match, an important soccer match. They're in the UEFA Championships, the European Championships, which some people feel is the most challenging championship to be in, bar none. And they were playing Sweden, and it was a semi-final, as I say, and they won 4-0. So a fantastic result. It means they're into the final, which is just a few days away now. So whether you're into soccer or not, something to celebrate, perhaps if you're English, and supporting that team. And of course, there is a lot of sport around on television, almost too much, I think, some people might say. If you can think of any number of sports, Wimbledon, tennis, you've got cricket, rugby, all sorts, pretty much anything, golf. I'm worried I'll leave out your favourite one, but there is so much sport on television. It's almost wall to wall, and in a way that's amazing. It's wonderful because it's a great thing if we're into sport to watch, certainly very exciting, and generally speaking I would say is very wholesome as well. If you think of some of the things that are in the news, some of the things that we see on television, actually a sporting encounter, generally speaking, is very wholesome, uplifting, and exciting as well. Certainly competitive. Sport is a competitive thing, but it's good for friendships as well. One of my sons did some quite serious rowing, rowing boats on very competitive, and he even got into some international events, junior international events. And after the actual races, which would be fiercely contested, the different teams from different parts of the world would swap kit. So, he would come back with, instead of his England rowing kit, he'd come back with something from, I don't know, Bulgaria or Canada or something like that, and say, look what I swapped with those amazing rowers I met from such and such a place in the world. So the friendships are part of it as well. But I don't know about you, but there's one thing in top professional sport which always makes me feel a bit, a bit kind of not sure it's a good thing, and that's the money. I looked it up. Stanley Matthews, a great player who started his career before the Second World War. Stanley Matthews, his first professional soccer contract in 1932 was £5 a week. In fact, in the summer when they didn't play, it was only £3 a week, so he got less just to keep him there during the break. £5 a week. Well, obviously that was a long time ago, back in the 1930s, but if you add all the inflation in that's happened since then, there's been a lot, that still comes in at just under £400 a week, which is not really a great deal of money for, after all, a very good sports person, a top professional soccer player. £400 a week for Stanley Matthews. Well now, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's one of the best known soccer players today, currently playing for Man United when I last looked, although he might have since changed. If I asked you to guess how much he's paid a week, I hope you'd guess, I'm sure you would guess, more than £400 a week. But you might be shocked, as I was, to discover that it's £500,000 a week. That's just his basic contract, let alone any of the extras. And that made me think, is Ronaldo, that's 1,000 times more pretty much than Stanley Matthews was paid, is Ronaldo 1,000 times better as a player than Stanley Matthews? And the answer is definitely not. They're both top players, but they're probably as good as each other in their own era. So this was a question I asked myself, what's going on here? Why are professional sports people today paid so much more? It's not because they're better, there's something else going on. And there is actually a very logical answer to this, if you think about it. And the answer is to do with TV rights and broadcasting rights, because a TV channel will pay a great deal of money to the leagues, to the clubs, who then pass it on to the players, and amongst other things in salaries. TV companies will pay a huge amount for professional sport, top-level professional sport. Why? Why, you might be asking? That's what I ask myself. Why do TV companies in particular pay so much for top sport? And it turns out that sport is especially valuable as a live TV. Well, it's a commodity, really. It's a product. It's a service that is offered by a TV channel. It's especially valuable. And if you think about it, the reason is because sport is the archetypal live thing. You have to watch sport really live to get the full impact, to enjoy it the most. If we were to watch, I don't know, a football match that was played 3 days ago, even if we might have sort of heard a bit on the grapevine what happened, or even if we hadn't really heard, it would still feel very stale and old, really. Sport is definitely a live thing for its full impact. And the TV companies know that. They know that therefore it's such a precious thing, because you can't kind of watch it on catch-up or get a bootleg copy a month later, or wait for it to come round when it's free or something like that, which you can with movies, with TV series, all sorts of other things. But with sport, it's a live thing. It's in the moment. Catching up is not really the same. And this got me thinking as I was reflecting on all of this. It's a sort of contrast, really, between what's predictable and known about and what's fresh, what's perhaps a bit unexpected. And those unexpected moments, those new things. I mean, picture yourself watching the Lionesses playing last night against Sweden. As the kickoff happened, no one knew. Would England win? Would they lose? Would it be great excitement? Would it be tragedy? Would it be a nail-biter, which was a draw right up to the last minute? All of this is what adds to the excitement, the spectacle, if you like, of that particular event, sporting event. And all of that is part of life. It's a very important part of life, that kind of eager excitement, the anticipation, the not quite knowing. Of course, it's good to have in life as well some predictability, knowing what's going to happen. But if life was completely predictable, completely known, then actually it would barely be life as we tend to describe it. In some ways, it would actually, although life, of course, brings its challenges and setbacks, life would be much easier if, for example, instead of being a human being, I was a big sort of lump of rock, just a stone. It'd be so much easier, wouldn't it? Nothing would ever change. I would never feel any pain or hurt. I wouldn't really feel anything at all. I wouldn't in the end really be alive, of course. That's the challenge. That's the paradox. Being alive, experiencing things, including the unexpected, the not quite knowing, the excitement, the eagerness, which those great sporting occasions bring to us in a particular way. Experiencing all of that, that's kind of the heart of being alive, actually. Each day, sometimes it's said, isn't it, being a gift, a new gift. Something will come along in this day. Some days will be more exciting than others, of course, but that's what gives life its richness, its texture, its depth almost. And actually, for me, I'm a Christian, of course, here at this church. And at the heart of the Christian faith is a celebration of life. You might almost, if you were trying to describe the Christian faith as simply as you could, you might say, well, it's a celebration of the gift of life from God. And for Christians, the reminder of that is seen in Jesus Christ, who actually lived a human life with us, alongside us. And the life of Jesus, which we read about in the Bible, well, that has its twists and turns, its unexpected moments. It has all that immediacy that comes, which I was trying to describe in a roundabout way with the sporting things. It's got all of that kind of wondering, what's going to happen? What's this gift going to mean? What's it going to be today for me? Just as that was true for Jesus. So actually it's true for me, it's true for you as well, it's true for all of us. And so I believe as Christians, certainly for me, as I embrace that gift of life with all its twists and turns, all its challenges, I think that takes us to the heart, actually, of the richness of life. And then it spurs us on to great things as we discover what our place is in the world, what we're called to do, what we're good at doing. And the other thing that Jesus reminds us of course, is that God actually is with us. That's the promise we have from God in Jesus, that God is with us through all of these different things. Of course, whether God is on the side of the England Lionesses or should have been on the side of the Swedish football team, well, that's not really the right way of seeing it. God is somehow with all of us. And of course, a sporting occasion has a winner and a loser usually. But that's to miss the point, that God is with us in all of those twists and turns, in all of the different opportunities and challenges, all the things that each day throws at us. Well, it might be you're not really a soccer fan. I have to say, the Lionesses are looking pretty good for the final in a few days' time. So perhaps it wouldn't be wrong just to send up a hopeful prayer that they will do their very best when they get to play that final game of the tournament. And thank you for listening to my short reflection today. As a reminder, I'm Edward Carter, the Vicar here. There are these reflections every Wednesday at 1:00. So I hope you'll perhaps be here in the church or watch on YouTube for the next one in the series. Thank you again for today.